You all right, guys? Welcome to the Derby County TV channel, and we're here just the day after the Oxford United game. And well, I've got the formation on screen, what we played last night, and I think there's a number of things we could talk about. I think we'll talk about the system first, and
Yeah.
is it actually working? There's question marks on some of the players and where they play, because I feel like there's a good 2 or 3 players, maybe 4, playing out of position. Firstly, I don't think Forsyth can play left wing back anymore. I think he hasn't got the legs for it. I think that's why I brought on Thompson at left wing back for some reason, for like 5 minutes, and then he brought Callum Elder on. I don't know if he just wasn't ready or something, and they just lobbed on Thompson. And then there's the probably issue with Max Bird. I feel like he's playing a little bit too high up. It was almost like attacking midfielder, whereas he should be playing probably a defensive midfielder, kind of similar to Corey Smith or Horahan. I just feel like Bird's further ahead of the three. And then Mendes Lang is just not really doing anything up front. Like he's trying to go out wide because that's what he wants to do. But I feel like Paul Wall wants him to stay more central. But I don't know. That's how I feel anyway. Is there anyone else that's maybe out of position?
So, in my honest opinion, I think, firstly, formation. If of course, I've got the formation we played for the games up as well.
Yeah.
And the main thing I've noticed is, of course, the only game where, apart from Burton, at home where we played well is second half of Blackpool, even though the first half was appalling. But we went to a back four, so at times it was kind of like Forsyth and I want to say it was Cashinor at the back with Elder and Kane on the wings, whereas potentially if 4 could work, that would then go to your situation of if you played, say for example, Cashin and someone, you could play multiple players alongside him at the back. You've then got the option of playing in a 4-2-3-1. You could play Ward further up, Mendes Lang on the wing. You can play Waghorn in a 10 or Collins in a 10. So they're, of course, supporting centrally. That's a massive thing that I noticed for the first couple of games. Centrally, we're nowhere to be seen. No one wants to be around us. No one wants to support. So Horahan's getting the ball maybe left of the field, and then he's looking at hopefully Mendes Lang, or in the second half it was like Elder and Forsyth making them runs down the left, not I can ping it into Corey Smith or I can ping it into Bird. They weren't available options, so we either need to get more centre mids that are adapt to playing the 3 at the back or change to a 4-2-3-1. Is I think that's what our players are comfortable with at the moment and what we played last season.
Yeah, I don't see him changing from a 5 at the back. That's the issue. I think he's going to stick to the 5. It's just what he does with like the midfield and the attack, I feel. I think you need to take out one of Smith, Bird or Horahan and put in Waghorn, and then you get Mendes Lang wide right, Waghorn left, and then Collins down the middle, something like that. But I don't see him getting rid of a 5 at the back, especially this early. You know, we're only 2 games in to the home season wise anyway. Away we got the win against Burton somehow. I think the early goal definitely helped us in that situation. And that could have been different.
It was confidence of Pride Park's kind of a very on your back place, isn't it? So if you're winning, they'll support you to the high heavens. But as we've seen with Wigan, Blackpool, and Oxford, the fans will boo, and I think that gets on them and makes them perform worse, not better. So Burton, with having less fans there, I feel like the pressure was off, so they just played normally. There's no pressure on them, where I think at home the pressure's on, and we'll see, of course, with Fleetwood if that's the case again.
Yeah, obviously, Darren Moore was at the game at the weekend. I just don't think David Clowes would sack Paul Warne this early. I know he's like got Darren Moore there. I don't know if Darren Moore just wanted to watch the game, maybe. But I feel like it's a little bit too early. you give them at least 5 or 6 games. I think this early on it's a little bit too soon. But you're obviously looking at post Fleetwood, and then you're kind of assessing, because if you look at the fixtures after Fleetwood, we've got like Bolton,
Yeah.
Peterborough, and another big team. So
We've got Portsmouth,
yeah,
Northampton around then. Yeah, and then we've got moving into October. You've got Blackpool away, and of course they battered us at home. So what
yeah.
are they going to
So
do to us away?
hmm so this Fleetwood
Um,
game is kind of he kind of has to win it kind of thing, in my
yeah,
opinion.
100%. The only thing I could see happening with Darren Moore in a positive sense is that he could come in like to the coaching staff in some way, and
Mm,
it could be a smart move that you bring him in. He's got experience of managing. He's known around Derby. He's a legend anyway. So then you've got someone to try and help out Warren and maybe give some kind of stylistic change. Whereas also, if you want to get rid of Warren, he can just move in. So
yeah.
that could also be an option
The thing
where,
the thing is with like Warren and Moore is they play pretty similar football. So I don't see like what it really adds, if that makes sense, or even as a change of direction. Obviously, you kind of have to stick to the direction, because obviously we're going to be looking at a 5 at the back team, regardless. I think
yeah,
whoever the manager is. But yeah, just watching last night, I think we just lacked a lot of pace, especially down the left with Forsyth. I just don't see him playing that left wing back role anymore. Sonny Bradley's been brought off twice now. It's not a great start to his career at Derby. We even question marks about Wildsmith. I don't know why people. I feel like he made a really good save last night. It could have very easily been 3 or 4 to Oxford if it wasn't for Wildsmith. But people wanted Vickers in for whatever reason.
I think Wildsmith last season, even though it was amazing, he had no competition. He
Yeah.
had Scott Loach, and that was it. And Scott Loach was never going to take a minute off him. In all honesty, um, he Scott Loach is just there to become a coach.
hmm
Basically, that's his job. That's what he wants to do. He's publicly said that. Whereas Vickers has come in now, and I feel like sometimes a player will get spurred on by competition, but that might not work for Wildsmith. Wildsmith might now regress a bit because he feels like, oh, Vickers can take my place. I don't have all the minutes. So
hmm
I feel like that's happening, and Wildsmith doesn't know what to do when
But I don't
something
see
goes wrong.
Wildsmith as the issue. Like with the goals that we've conceded,
Oh,
you know,
no.
but like the mistakes that have been made have been like Nelson, Bradley, Forsyth. Not really anything Wildsmith can really do. But
No.
yeah, we have had an offer today from Brighton, I think it is, for Erin Cashin. The club
Yes.
kind of want 3 mil, which I think is a fair price for a player with 12 months left on his contract. But then maybe Brighton will just wait those 12 months and get him on a free. So it's kind of that kind of situation where we either take the money and maybe keep him on loan for the season, or we lose a centre back and then maybe you have to change the system anyway. So it's going to be interesting to
This,
see with the last 2 weeks.
this is the thing. If they get rid of cash in all honesty, they're just going to move Forsyth across
Mm,
Elder in, or even I could even see them because Sibley's close to coming back.
yeah.
Sibley playing that left wing back, like they if they cash in, they need if they cash in on cash in, they need to literally buy players with it, but they won't.
But
I
that's
can see that not happening.
but we probably sold Bielik for 1 mil, Knight for
Yeah,
a couple of mil. Where's that money gone? We've not actually seen a reinvestment in the squad in terms of transfer fees. Everyone's been
it's on the
free.
wages. That's
Yeah,
all it's
but
gone on.
I just don't see the wages. Like, I don't see where we've paid wages, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like, we've not brought in anyone that's on massive wages. Maybe Ward. That's about it, because he's gone from a competition team, and that's why we've
yeah.
had to pay a little bit more. But other than that, it should be pretty standard wages. So we should hopefully, you'd hope we see either like a Michael Smith from Sheffield Wednesday come in for maybe 1 million. I wouldn't mind that, because he is a proven League One goal scorer, and with Collins up front, I think that would be a better dynamic. But then it leaves Mendes Lang in a bit of a weird position of where do you play him? Because I don't see him playing as a wing back, and I don't
No.
see him playing up front. So, does the system suit him?
This is it. I don't think the system suits him at all, and he seems lost. But that's when maybe you can still play five at the back, but maybe play like a 3-4-3 instead of a
Yeah. I just think we need to drop one of the centre
3-5.
mids and put an
Yeah,
extra attack in. Because the midfield's not there anyway, so you might as well put another person up front. Because
and
especially
bypass
when Barkhausen comes back from injury, I'm sure
it.
he'll want to play on the wide. And then obviously you could put Waghorn on the wide as well. But then we'd need to
Yeah,
probably look to loan. That's another thing as well. We've not actually loaned in anyone yet as well. So
no,
you'd
we haven't.
expect maybe one or two of them coming in the last. They tend to be in the last few weeks when obviously everyone's sorted out their transfers.
This is
But
it. And I mean, the thing with the formation again is, of course, if you played with wide players, you could play Ward and Kane Wilson along the same
yeah,
side, and that's a lot of pace and a lot of attacking input
hmm
from one side, which we've not really had. And them two players, when they've been on individually, have made positive runs, have made crosses into the box. It's just
they're
there's
probably the
no one
best
to
two
link up
signings we've
with.
had this season.
Yeah,
Down the right.
100%.
But yeah, if we go to that 3-4-3, you put Kane Wilson a bit deeper and then Ward in front of him, and that just
Yeah,
opens up options that way. Um, but yeah, in terms of recruitment, I don't think we've seen enough from a lot of the players. I've been quite disappointed with Nelson and Bradley. I feel like the aerial aspect that they should have hasn't been there, and even like the simple things that like just passing around and stuff like that. They're just I don't know. I don't know what it is, but obviously we still have time to sign some players. And I just think we need, you know, one or two attackers for sure. I said this probably like 2 weeks ago, whenever we recorded, that attacking wise we're not looking great, and that was before we got Waghorn. But I just wonder what is it Mark Thomas, the director of football? Like,
I think so. Yeah,
yeah, like what has his input been in these transfers? Because I feel like a lot of them are quite what Paul Warren wants, which is nice. It's good to provide what the manager wants, but at the same time, I think we've not really reinvested, which we should do if we're going to
this
get into the top six.
this is it. We've kind of gone. So when we had kind of the transfer ban, we had Rooney and stuff like that. We were like, oh, we need to rely on the youth. Whereas now we're buying in players that are old
Mm.
again, so we're going back to the tactic of, or when we were getting in your older players that were like basically past it. Like even Rooney, to a sense, was past his prime, but we were
Yeah,
just like, yeah, he'll do a job. So we've regressed to that tactic where, for example, in the back three and what we saw in pre-season, I'd rather Jake Rooney play over Nelson or Bradley
yeah,
in the back three,
or
but
even put
he's not had a single minute.
yeah. I think we just need to find that combination with the back three because, like, you took off Bradley last night, put Forsyth in the middle of the three, and I don't know if there was much of a difference, but it seemed to be a little bit better.
Yeah,
So I think we just can't continue with Forsyth left wing back because he just hasn't got the legs for it, unfortunately. At 33 or 32, whatever he is, and then just taking out one of those centre mids and putting somebody up front. That's probably what we need to look at, especially at home. I don't think we need the three in the middle. I think I'd rather just go a bit more attacking, get the balls into the box, because that's the kind of one-dimensionalness to us at the minute. We're just getting the ball wide, crossing it in, and then
yeah,
doing it again. There's nothing coming through the middle at the minute. So what's the point in having the three midfielders?
very true. And I mean, in all honesty, the players picked for Horahan to be captain, but what has he actually done this season?
Mm, yeah,
He's
I
not
think.
he's not taken any game by the scruff of the neck. He's not, well, what I've seen at Pride Pot, he's not said anything to any player when we've conceded. He's not riling everyone up. He's not getting everyone motivated. What we've had of captains of the past, he's just literally there like head down. Right, let's get back for the kickoff. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult when you're brand new captain. You kind of have to, you don't want to overdo it and then just kind of lose
Yeah,
everyone.
exactly. But
But
that's
yeah,
where maybe
I
gone
think,
to should it have gone to potentially someone like Forsyth, because
mm,
out of being animated, he's the most animated from where I can see. I can see him throwing his arms in the air. I can see him getting annoyed, and I can see it with Bighorn as well. Like they're getting annoyed, but of course they've seen where the club was.
yeah,
They've been there at a stage where we were pushing for the Prem,
hmm
and I think they can see that annoyance where the other players have just known maybe relegation battles, League One. So I don't
mm,
know.
yeah. I seen that Billy Sharp went to the LA Galaxy, so he won't be joining us.
Yeah,
But I can't remember if there's anyone else. I know Michael Smith was. Um, who else has been linked?
there's always Jordan Rhodes.
Yeah, again, it's kind of like another Washington in a way. Like he was good in the
Yeah,
past, but I just don't think he's quite got it anymore. I think
of course.
Washington's done all right though as an impact. I think at last 25, 20 minutes, I don't mind him coming on and doing that. But if you want to get up in the top, I don't see Collins getting us 20, 25 goals. Whereas you need a
Yeah,
Michael Smith or um, I know we would looked at Mark Godden as well from Coventry, but I doubt that's going to happen now.
that's
But
it. I mean, even if we went League Two, like could we get someone like Macaulay Langstaff? Is I mean, his
mm,
ability and how he plays would suit a Waghorn or suit a Collins to play off, and he'd suit the
yeah,
formation that one wants to play. So, do you go down the league and bring someone who is, I think he's 23? You
hmm
bring him up a league, he could smash it. You don't know. He's not at his prime, is he? So you can work on him. But this is it. You've got the players you're bringing in when they are older
hmm
are harder to adapt to a formation or to a vision if they've not done it before. If they've always been in the back four, it's hard to change to a back 3/5.
yeah,
Whereas if if you've got someone, you've got to get players in that play week in week out for years that formation. So they'll slot in. They know that role inside out. Not
hmm
trying to train everyone into this philosophy and this formation. If that's going to take too long, you're going to lose your job before you get the formation perfect.
yeah. I think for Fleetwood, I think my starting 11 would be Wild Smith,
Yeah,
um, Nelson, Forsyth, Cashin, Elder, and depending on obviously Ward got injured in the Oxford game, so we don't know if that's going to be an issue with his injury if he's going to be out
yeah,
for a few games. But either Ward or Wilson on that right wing back, and then Mendes, Lang, Collins, and Waghorn on the left, and then midfield of Smith and Horahan. Maybe drop Bird. I don't know. It's
yeah.
because I feel like Smith's doing well, but maybe you drop Smith and then leave Bird and Horahan to be more responsible. Because I think they're kind of leaving it to Smith, but I think he's done really well in that leadership role in the middle. Corey Smith,
Bird
like
and
he's been one of our
Holohan are very.
best.
Yeah. Sorry, what did you say?
I feel like Smith's done well, but you might have to drop him in order to make a better system.
Yeah,
But yeah, I feel like Bird and Horahan, they are very similar. That is the issue.
yeah. I think Bird and Smith would be my preferred two, but you're not going to drop your captain this
Yeah, that's
early
the
on.
issue.
This is
Yeah.
the thing. If in an ideal world, I'd play them two, but I think that he's going to play the same as the end of the first half. So you'll have Wildsmith, Wilson. Um, I think he is going to play Bradley because he's not going to want to put him down.
No, that's
Cashin
the
and
issue.
Nelson. I think he's gonna play Forsyth still for the
I
first
just don't think he
half.
works left wing back. I just don't think Forsyth works on
He,
the left. He just doesn't have the
he
legs
does,
to stretch teams.
but the thing is, even if we're playing midweek and at the weekend, he'll play the same 11. So I think the same 11 is going to go out, bar Ward for Wilson.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't do that. And in my opinion, I'd probably try with starting Wycombe instead of Mendes-Lang and then letting Mendes-Lang come on,
Yeah.
because then he's running against tired legs. But just to see the difference of playing two actual strikers together in the formation. But this is the thing. I think it's going to be the same 11 bar if Ward's not fit.
Fleetwood haven't won a game this season, so I feel like if you're gonna go for a game, you kind of have to go for it against them at home. Like if we lose this, there's you got a question mark whether Warne's the right man for the job, and that's kind of crazy when you think about it. A few weeks ago, I was happy to go with him and stuff, but that's the nature of football. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know all your comments down below. Obviously, Wigan have won 2 games and drawn 1, so they're already on -1 point, so they're not too far off us. But I think Reading are getting some points deductions, aren't they?
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. That's our only hope to get out of this league. But I feel like this is the season if we're going to do it. Like, there's only really Bolton, Portsmouth and Peterborough that are real competition. Other than that, not really. But then next season you got Wrexham and Notts County potentially coming up, and then you're absolutely ruined. There's no chance you're going to compete with them. So yeah, hopefully you did enjoy the video. Drop a like if you did. Hopefully we'll be back a little bit sooner than last time. Obviously I went away to Rome, so that caused a bit of a delay. So we might be back after the Fleetwood game, and hopefully we got a win.